You could change your car. You could change your home. Hell, you could change your damn wife if you want to. But none of that is going to heal the wound that's inside your chest. Knowing damn well I was ghosting my kids. I convinced myself that it was honorable for me to chase money. I thought if I just made enough money, worked a little bit hard, gave some really dope gifts, that I could buy my way back in my kids' trust. I became a rock star at my job. But nobody told me what the climb was gonna cost. If you're a black man and you listen to this, you ain't gotta be perfect. You don't have to pretend. You just need to be present and accountable. What's good, fam? What's good? What's good? Glad you're here to join me for another edition of the Untamed Way podcast. Listen, guys, I'm gonna just dive right into this because this has been deeply on my mind, something I've been kind of like conjuring up and thinking about all week long. And I started thinking about the lie of the climb and the cost of being absent trying to make that climb. So have you ever been so focused on climbing, you know what I mean, you didn't even realize you was dying on the way up? That was me. I told myself I was doing everything I was doing for my family, but it never really was about my family. See, I convinced myself that it was honorable for me to chase money, that if I was building a business, grinding and leveling up inside of life, that meant I was doing my duty as a man. But it wasn't true, you know what I'm saying? I was climbing because I was too afraid of slowing down. Because if I slowed down, that means that I really had to face the things that I was running from. I had to face the fears that really were haunting me. And if you're a black man and you listen to this, you already know how this game was played. You already know what you was born into. See, none of us started on level 1 inside this game. We started 400 years behind the starting line. Ever since that first slave ship made dock on the coast, we've been on the treadmill ever since. We've been playing catch up inside of that mode of catching up. Playing catch up with the laws, playing catch up with the trauma, playing catch up with the conditions passed down from us from generation to generation like a suit that we never really wanted to wear. And me, I bought into it fully. I climbed the corporate ladder. I got the car, I got the car, stacked the paper. I became a rock star at my job. But nobody told me what the climb was gonna cost. See, nobody told me that making this climb, that my weight was also gonna climb up to 215 pounds. That my body would be inflamed, that I would start drinking too much, that I would start eating like shit just to justify me chasing that dollar, just to justify me living to the American dream. See, my kids, I barely spoke to them. My wife, I really couldn't look her in the eye because I was dealing with so much guilt and shame. And I prayed, but man, let's be real. I was praying to God like he was my Geico insurance agent, only when I was desperate and in need of real help. See, in the world, I looked successful, but I was a ghost in my own damn house. And all of that came crashing down on me. I never forget, it hit me like a boulder being dropped down on my chest because the house was hella quiet. Nobody was awake. Everyone was asleep. I was sitting in the dark. I was scrolling on my phone. Let me just be real. I was doom scrolling. I was trying to distract myself from my own damn thoughts, trying to quiet the noise that was ringing so loud in my head that I could not make the noise quiet. So I needed something to distract me. And then when my phone screen went black, I caught a reflection of myself and I didn't even recognize the man I was looking at. My body was inflamed from all of the damn stress I was carrying. My face looked tired and bloated from all the alcohol I was drinking. My soul, it had abandoned the space that I was renting it inside of my own chest. See, that night, I asked myself one question. And that one question, it really wrecked me. I asked myself, would my kids be better off if I just stayed completely out of their life? I just stayed away from them. And that's when I knew that this wasn't about success. This was more about survival. I was surviving my own guilt. I was ashamed of who I become. I was surviving my own shame. Surviving that little voice in my head that kept saying, bro, you ain't no real father. bro, you ain't even no real man. And instead of facing it, I buried it inside of being busy. I buried it inside of trying to rebrand myself. I buried it inside of the grind culture. And then I had the audacity to call it purpose. See, fam, you can't outrun your emotional cowardness. You cannot out-earn the absence of what you created inside of your home. You really can't out-boss the voice that is inside of your head reminding you that your daughter's growing up without you. And your son is learning how to disappear just like you, because you are the living example of what he's witnessing, and you're showing him every damn day. I thought the cost of my absence was just going to be an emotional thing. Nah, bro, that shit was compounded across every aspect of my life. It was compounded like it was Uno playing compounded Uno. I didn't realize like until my mirror of me started to crack. So let me break this down for you, King. Let me show you how it really showed up for me, because I was a complete shit show. My body, I would never say I was ashamed of my body, but my body was ashamed of itself. I carried stress like it was a weighted vest. I was stress eating. I was sleeping like shit. I was waking up groggy every day. I had no sex drive and I had zero energy. My gut, completely inflamed. My knees, my shoulders, my elbows, all of it, my hips, all that stuff was hella tight and restricted. My back would just hurt for no reason at all, just from sitting there. And I just told myself, bro, this is part of getting old. You over 40 now, bro. This is what it looks like to get over 40. This is what it's supposed to feel like. But that wasn't the truth. I was just becoming more and more disconnected from my body. I was becoming disconnected from actually working out in the gym. I became disconnected from getting any type of mobility work in. I was disconnecting from what I loved doing the most, was working out in the gym. That was like a purpose with me. See, no matter how much you try to lie, your body's gonna always tell you the truth. And your body will scream that truth loudly, painfully, and unapologetically. And the thing that really ate at me the most is like when I prayed. Well, if you really want to call it that. See, I prayed like a man that was negotiating. Like I just got into a car accident and I need to negotiate with the adjuster that showed up. That's how I prayed to God, because I use God just like he was an insurance policy. You know what I mean? And make matters worse, sometimes I would avoid God like I owed him money. I didn't stop being spiritual. I just stopped being honest with myself. I didn't read the word like I was supposed to read the word. I didn't journal about my reflections about the word once I read it. Hell, I didn't even go to church anymore, because I couldn't just sit here and pretend like I was a good man, knowing damn well I was ghosting my kids. So brother, I was spiritually numb. I was distant from my kids. I was distant from my calling, and I was held damn sure distant from the voice of God, because I didn't feel worthy. Something I had to learn the hard way was a man that's out of alignment with his bloodline, he is disconnected from his lifeline. And I want you to marinate on that for a little bit. And let me tell you, brothers, like if you think your wife doesn't see this, I just want to let you know, think again. She sees everything. My wife saw how my mood changed when my kids would call me. She saw how I would pull back emotionally during the holidays. She saw how I avoided conversations about legacy and lineage. And although she never said it out loud, I could see it in her eyes and her body language. She's looking at me, sadly, just wondering, if this man won't show up for his own kids, how could I ever follow him and allow him to lead me? See, that question pulled at her spirit, because she could never give herself to fully trust me. Until I really started showing up as a complete father, she would never trust me. So I tried to lead my marriage while ghosting my kids, and that was a complete disaster. Because you really can't lead your house and when you abandon your seed. See, where I really got down at, where I really excelled and killed it at, was business. But even that was an optical illusion. I looked like I was winning, don't get me wrong. But leadership ain't really about the revenue that I was producing. It's about being in alignment. And I was completely out of alignment. Which means that, I was out of integrity as well. See, when you're out of integrity, you make some bad decisions. I mean, don't get me wrong, those decisions you were making, you made them with good intent, but they had horrible, terrible consequences behind them. See, I started overworking. I started thinking I can earn the respect back that I lost at home. See, I could prove that I was still the man by building something impressive. But deep down, I was just trying to distract myself from all the guilt I was feeling. See, I learned that you could be rich, but still be bankrupt inside your spirit. You could close deals all day long and still feel like a fraud when you go home. Because your own children, they don't really know who you are. All of that was bleeding out of me. It was leaking through the cracks. It started with one missed phone call, started with one broken promise. It started with, hey, I will make sure I see you all next week. Until one day that mirror completely shattered on me. I couldn't lie to myself anymore. See, that was the moment for me when the mask came off. And every man will go through this moment where he hits a moment for himself where the mask just don't fit no more. That moment came for me in the dark. Alone, at night. The house was silent, my wife quietly asleep, the kids are gone. I'm sitting there doom scrolling again. Just trying to unplug, looking for another distraction so I wouldn't have to deal with the aches and pains that's inside my spirit, just trying to numb myself. Then a quick flash, boom. A picture of my youngest daughter appears. The screen goes black. The next message comes up. It was a text message saying, hey, butt dial, no need to call me back. The screen goes black again. There's no noise, just a reflection. And I caught myself staring at the version of me I really didn't recognize. Better yet, I was staring at a version of me I really didn't like. Bloated, tired, my soul hollow, my eyes are empty. That guy was looking back at me. And that's that same guy, right? He looked hella good on paper, but he was dead on the inside. Spiritually bankrupt, emotionally bankrupt. And right then, that's when I heard the whisper that really punched me in the gut. Whisper that simply said, you traded your presence for all of this, a performance trophy. You became an actor inside your own life. You showed up in public and you disappeared in private. You knew how to lead, you know how to lead a team, but had no damn clue of how to lead your own home. And what's cold-blooded by all of that? I thought I could outrun it. I thought I could out-earn it. I thought if I just made enough money, worked a little bit hard, gave some really dope gifts, that I could buy my way back in my kids' trust. But fam, you can't DoorDash your way back into your daughter's heart. There ain't enough cash apps you can send your son that will make him give his respect to you. You can't Venmo your way back into God's good graces. See, that's the moment that broke me. But the moment that shattered me, it wasn't a fight. It wasn't a death in the family. It wasn't some big family meltdown. The moment that shattered me is when my 9-year-old daughter reached out to me. She wanted to know why her last name was different from her sibling's last name. She wanted to know who her father was. See, the panic is set in. My palms got sweaty. My heart started racing. That's the moment that cracked my chest wide open because she still wanted me. She still saw value in the man who did nothing to earn her trust. See, fellas, I'm gonna tell you, you could change your car. You could change your home. Hell, you could change your damn wife if you want to. But none of that is gonna heal the wound that's inside your chest. The only thing that will is reclaiming your position. Reclaiming your position as a father. Reclaiming your position as a husband. Reclaiming your position as a man of God. You ain't gotta be perfect. You don't have to pretend. You just need to be present and accountable. That's the Untamed Way. Be easy, y'all.